Hi, I'm going to show you guys how to create an assembly using Fusion 360 where the components are related to one another. So I'm going to make something similar to this where I have 5 layered pieces. Some are the same and some are different. I'm going to turn a few off so you can see. The inside ones have this gap in here for a light piece that we are going to make for a grade 12 project, and then how to bring a couple of these different layers in an assembly. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I already have this piece open here, this outside base. I've already made it, and so I'm going to bring that into a new assembly. So I first have to press this plus sign, and I'm going to create an assembly. So I've got to save it right away, and I'll call it light lamp assembly. And I'm going to call it 2 just so that I know it's different than this one here. I've got it in the right folder, and I'm going to press save. So the first thing that I do, there's nothing in it. This is the assembly here. It's active, and I'm going to bring in a component. This is the one I've already made. And I'm just going to press OK, leave it at that spot, and I'm going to ground it. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually be working in the assembly to create a new component. So the assembly is active, and I know it's active because it has this circle with the plus. If I wanted this one to be active, I would have the circle and plus there. So there's only one component. So I'm going to make this one the active one. And I'm going to create a new component inside here and use this geometry as reference. So this is a new component. And I'm going to call this inside base 2, just to rename it. And the parent that I want to select it's actually going to be inside this assembly. So I press that and I press OK. And now you can see that I have 2 components in this assembly. So this one is the active component right now. It's got this circle with the dot, and I'm going to create a sketch. I want to reference this surface here. And so the first thing I want to do is it's going to use this outside shape. It's going to be related to this component. So if I change this component, this one will also change. But for this, I want to have a little cutout in here for the LED light. So I'm going to add a little bit more geometry to it. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to create a component like that, or a feature, sorry. And I'm going to dimension it first. So I'm going to say that I want it to be 60. Perfect. And this should be 10. And then over here, I've got to trim a piece right here. So I've just got to trim that piece and that piece there. And now I've got to add a few more dimensions to it. Okay, and so now all the components are black, which means that they're fully defined, and I can trim this one away as well. So I have a fully defined sketch, and I can say finish, and now I want to extrude it. So because it's still active, I'm going to extrude this surface, and I'm making it 3 millimeters, which is the thickness of the wood. And now I have a second component in here. Okay, and so what I want to do now is I want to create a second one of these because the light that goes in there is actually going to be a lot wider. So we're fitting this LED light inside this cutout. So we actually need to layer this 3 times. So right now this component is active. So I have to make this the active part. So I click right there. And so now that's the active part. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go here and I'm going to say move or create a copy. I want to make sure that this is checked off. So that means it's actually going to make a second copy of it. And I just want to move it over 3 millimeters so that it's basically like I'm layering up a second component. So now I have 3 there, and you can see in here I have 2 of the same component. So I'm going to do that one more time. So again, the assembly is active. I am going to go in here and I am going to move or create a copy. I've got to make sure this is checked off, and I'm going to move it in this direction. Okay, so this is in the Y direction, and now it's going to be -6 because it's got to go over twice. And now I have 3 layers of it.